that is the only way that over a period of time the strength of those emotions will go. Otherwise it will not go.
You have to logically dismiss it.
Logically you have to actually, that's why we are not talking about avoiding emotions. We are not talking about saying that, oh, I'm Brahman. We are not talking about that, right? Because otherwise you will just try to bypass your emotional life, and that never actually is, it is not fruitful. Right.
Head on, full on.
Absolutely. Right, and without actually getting into, see, there is another big problem that we constantly label, right, even ourselves. We are constantly giving messages to ourselves about ourselves. So the minute you say that, the minute I become spiritual, I should not have sadness, fear, these are like, it's a wrong starting point. Okay, because then, just like before, you will try to bypass the emotions and they will continue to dictate you. Okay, so therefore being spiritual means what? Part of the job is to re-look at all that baggage and then to cognitively undo it, so that what? Now, from now on, when you have to make decisions, not the habitual thinking prevails, but your new understanding prevails. Okay, so that is something which is a huge job, and probably it's a lifetime job, because it is not something that you can say, okay, now I've been listening to Vedanta for 1 year and therefore I've just totally reprogrammed myself. It doesn't happen like that. That's why it takes a certain time. Okay, now the next thing is, what is it that there are two things. Okay, one thing in that growth model that Vedanta is talking about at a relative level, as I told you, that what is it which is different from a normal psychological model. Okay, as psychologist you go, they will also help you to sort out your emotions. They will also do the same. Right? They will also try to make you see where you were going wrong, what were your wrong assumptions. They will try to correct it so that you stop behaving from the past behavioral patterns, and then re-look at life with a different vision. They do the same. Okay. Now, how is Vedanta different? Okay, what is the value added? I don't want to say Vedanta is different. What I want to say is, what is the value added of Vedanta? Because already that discipline is extremely well developed. Okay, and there are very smart people who've thought for years about how the mind works and how to correct certain patterns and all that. They've thought about it, right? And that's very good. But if it is totally adequate, then Vedanta becomes redundant, or it just reiterates what already modern psychology is saying. But what we are saying is that it has a value added. So where is the value added? So here, one of the biggest value added is, okay, understanding, bringing Ishvara. Okay, bringing Ishvara is something which is a huge, because psychologist doesn't bring Ishvara into one's own, behavior, getting over one's patterns, right? Here, so this is what Vedanta, the understanding of Vedanta, whether you think about understanding the ultimate truth or reality, or when it comes to your own psychological growth, at both level Ishvara comes. Okay, so Ishvara becomes an integral part of understanding Vedanta. There is no Vedanta without Ishvara. Okay, so this is where now that Ishvara up to now was not really highlighted. What we saw up to now was the nature of Atma. We talked about Karma Yoga. We talked about meditation. We talked about the benefits of, reorienting yourself to make the knowledge something which stays with you. All is, I think everything was, the whole focus was you, the individual. Okay. Now, the next 7 chapters of the Gita, the focus shifts slightly, and it then talks about Ishvara. Okay, what is Ishvara? What is the cause of the universe? And what is your relationship with the cause of the universe? So that is what is talked about. So chapter 7 begins with introduction of a new topic, which is the topic of Ishvara, the cause of the universe. Okay, so the first verse, which is chapter 7 verse 2, it says, ज्ञाने तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत नातव्यमवशिष्यते. So, you will chant after me. Are you chanting? Yeah. Okay. I don't know which class they are chanting and which class they are not chanting. We started and we stay. Okay. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshamya sheshatah yajnatva neha bhuyonyata नातव्यमवशिष्यते. Okay.
It is possible.
This is like basic. It is.
Sounds and
And
you have never come across this ever before.
it is incredible. No?
Can you believe it?
For 50 years.
We cannot even follow a half.
Half. Yeah.
And a second after she says it.
So, no, but it takes time. I mean, even for us, it took time. Even though I studied Sanskrit, it takes time. It's not that easy. Don't worry. Okay. So now, here he is saying that now, this knowledge which I have told you up to now is something which is not complete. Vedanta is not complete without what we call Tatpada Vichara. Tatpada Vichara means contemplating or inquiring into Tatpada. Pada is the word. What is Tat? Tat is the cause of the universe. Okay. So here he says, now I am going to talk about that Tatpada, Ishvara, Yadgnatva, knowing which then nothing else to be known. Okay. So now what the Mahavakyas do, what do they say? That Tat, which seems to you like something which is far away, and what is Tvam? Tvam is you. Tvam in Sanskrit means you, right? Asi means is, right? And that is not, it's a present tense. It's not something which is a future tense. It's not like you have to do this, then you will become, right? Because Sanskrit, being an extremely precise language, it uses tenses in a very, in English you have 3 tenses, right? Past, present and future. In Sanskrit you have 10 tenses. Okay? So remote past, distant future, they are different. The verbs are declined differently based on, right? They get different form, different conjugations, okay, based on what is the past. Then there is imperative, then there is potential. There are all these different forms of verb, right? Instead of 3 you have 10 different verb forms. Okay. And in English what happens is, when you want to say you want to use the verb go, okay, and you want to use it in future tense, what will you do?
You'll add a will.
Exactly. You'll just add a will, right? He will go. So go remains the same and you will just add will to indicate future. In Sanskrit, the conjugation itself will change. So therefore, it's very, very precise, right? That what is it that you mean? Okay, because that verb will have a different conjugation to indicate which mood or which tense it is talking about. Okay, so now here asi means it is. There is absolutely no ambiguity about it. Okay, so therefore it is not that, oh, maybe will got misplaced somewhere, or because that go can become whatever. Okay, so this is where
But it is a present or a present continuous?
it is present tense.
Just
Because it's a verb. It's not a particle. Yeah, because otherwise we call it present continuous particle, we call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of these exactly. Yeah. So for example, in that verse when we saw Pashyan, Jignan, that was present continuous. While seeing, Okay, while hearing, while eating, the wise person thinks that the sense organs engage in these sense objects and Atma does not do anything. That was present continuous. Okay, here it is verb and it is present tense. Okay, so that means it is you are that. Okay, so therefore what you need to now understand is you, we have already inquired into. When that you are that is said, we are not talking about you as you understand who you are. This is the problem, because if you don't inquire into the nature of I, and if I just tell you you are what? This, the cause of the universe, you will start imagining that you can manipulate the universe according to your needs and all. So that's why when we do a vichara, vichara means we do a big inquiry into what is meant by that tvam, which is equated to Ishvara. Okay, so now what he says is, now the inquiry is going to be about Tatpada, because if there is an equation, right, what you must understand one thing. What is an equation? When I say 5 is equal to 5, is it an equation?
Yes.
No, it's not an equation. It's just an equation. It's equal. Exactly.
They seem different, but they are the same.
Excellent, Bela. Okay, so that means an equation is, when I say, right, 6 minus 1 is equal to 3 plus 2. The two sides look different. Okay, so 3 is different from 6, plus is different from minus, 2 is different from 1. So it seems very different, but what? Where is the resolution point? The resolution point, you must understand this, only then you will understand Vedanta accurately. Okay, so the resolution point is not what? Between 6 and 3, plus and minus, 2 and 1. The resolution is, when you do 3 plus 2, what you come to is 5. Okay, and when you do 6 minus 1, what you come to is 5.
So the resolution point is the 5.
Exactly. The resolution point is 5 and not at the apparent level. If you try to make the equation at a wrong point, you are making such a huge error.
That's why you have to solve these.
You have to solve these equations. Exactly. Right? So up to now, what we have done is solve the first part of the equation, which is 5. In Vachyartha, there is a difference. When I say you, which is you are not the cause of the universe. Like the two sides of the equations, they look very different. Okay, we are not trying to make an equation at the level of Vachyartha. The equation is at the level of Lakshyartha. Right? So now, first, let us look at the immediate meaning of what is Tatpada. Tatpada is Tatpada. Pada is the word. Exactly. Right? Which is the cause of the universe. Even in the Vachyartha of the cause of the universe, there is a distinction between, right, what most of the people, including, it's got nothing to do with Hindus or non-Hindus, most of the people think about Ishvara and what is the Vedic vision of Ishvara. Okay, so let us look at this next two verses which talk about, next two verses and then the rest of the verses which talk about Ishvara. Okay, so here he says, the first verse, this talks about Vachyartha of what is Ishvara is has everybody followed the terminology?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
The literal meaning.
Huh?
The literal meaning.
Yeah, the literal meaning. Exactly. Right? So, the chapter 7, verse 7 and 8 is what we will see. Okay? So, here it says, Matta paratanam nanyata kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. So here he says that matta param na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Okay, there is nothing which is bigger than me. Okay? So then, if there is nothing which is bigger than Ishvara, where does one find Ishvara? Okay, here he says, Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. Okay, I am like a string, okay, which puts together what? Manihi, all the different beads. Okay, so that means now let us look at what does it mean.
When we say me here,
He's talking about Ishvara.
as Ishvara.
Exactly, excellent, right? Because he is using exactly as Anna says, he doesn't say Ishvara, he says Mai. Mai means a pronoun, right? As I am, exactly, right? He's talking like that. But at the same time, he's not talking about him as something which is away from the universe, right? Because the money is the beads, right? And sutre is the string which is putting together all the different beads. Okay, so now that string, is it away from the beads? No. Okay, now let us look at the cause that the universe, what represents, do you think, the beads in the universe? Exactly, right? So that means the beads represents us. Right, so that means
Us as in even the tree and even
excellent, excellent. So let's extend, absolutely, right? As Arna says, it's not only us as human beings, but it then includes, one has to now extrapolate into what does this bead represent. Okay, it represents trees, it represents what? Animals, absolutely, right? Then what else?
also represents the house and the light and the fan.
It even includes the
It has to.
clay and the stone and the
All inanimate.
Excellent. All the inanimate things also, right? This is very, very important. Not only animate but also inanimate
So
things.
now you are going from the Vachyartha to the
No, I'm
Not
still
still-
still the Vachyartha. Okay, this is still the Vachyartha. Okay, so therefore, and then if you look outside Earth, what does those monies represent?
stars.
Exactly, right? The whole, the entire, this solar system, galaxies, it can represent everything, right? So then, it just from the smallest things, it can also represent what bacteria, virus, everything, living and non-living. Okay, and not only on this earth, but also outside this earth, known to me and unknown to me. Okay, because there are so many things in the universe which I don't even know what they are. Okay. So therefore, I am that which what? Like a string. Now, when you see a necklace, do you see the string? You see only the beads. Okay. So that means if you just look at with your perception, like Madhvi's beautiful thing, I don't even know what is it which is putting it together. I don't even know. Right? So that means if I look, I don't see the string, but it is the one which actually holds everything together. Okay? So therefore, now let us see what holds you and me together. Exactly. But Ishvara in what form? Exactly. Now all you need to start to iterate so that your understanding becomes real. Otherwise what happens is all when you say you gloss over, it just stays there. Right? It doesn't get assimilated. It doesn't get percolated in your whole being. Right? When I deconstruct the word all at all levels, I need to name them. What does it mean when it means all? Okay. Then only I can be alive to the presence of Ishvara. Okay. So all. Can you, being a doctor, some things that you know exactly, why is it that by studying one dead rat, you are able to cure a human being in front of you? How?
an understanding of how that dendrite is put together.
Exactly. So this is what is the law that you say? What is the law? Which
Biological law there.
Excellent.
All the sort of mammals or whatever.
Excellent. Right? So that means that what holds us together is what? Some biological laws, because of which you can have this whole study of medicine. Okay? Because what applies to one mammal, what is the inference? It's a huge inference. Okay? Applies to all the other mammals. Who created that? Right? That means there is an intelligent design. It's not just random. Okay? So much of your inference, all your treatments are all based on inference only. Very little perception.
Yeah, that's why so much
Yeah,
is empirical.
that is why, exactly. Right? And that means so many trials, exactly.
That's why we're still practicing medicine. We
You're
completed it.
absolutely right. So that means what holds us together is biological laws. That means the doctor today will use certain inference. 10 years from now, maybe your understanding of those laws has improved a little bit, which will enable those doctors to intervene more intelligently, maybe, right? But the laws are the same. Please understand that, right? You're not improving the laws. You are not creating the laws. You are understanding the laws better so that you can intervene better.
So you have just now connected sort of the animal world with the human world.
Exactly.
But not the plant world.
Yeah.
Still, in a
Excellent. Excellent.
way. We are very
Okay,
connected.
so now let us. So is there no 1 minute, 1 minute? Absolutely. What Arnaz is saying is right. What she's saying is, so that means Ishvara means some other laws too. Let's, yeah. So what else? Now this is how you begin to think, right? Biological laws is one part, but it doesn't include everything. Okay. So now, what is the other thing that connects us? Which are the laws, as Arnaz is asking, are connecting us to plant kingdom?
The laws of survival.
Absolutely. The laws of survival, what are the laws of survival? The laws of survival is that you need, right? You need food to continue to live. Okay? Now you need it, I need it, she needs it, all the mammals of the past needed it, all the mammals of the future will need it. Okay? Who's producing the trees and the entire plant kingdom? You go to a nutritionist and he or she will tell you, right, that you need everything is so sophisticated, B1 and B2 and B12, and now D vitamin is deficient, and all these things, exactly, all from nature. It's already there, right? Then it tells you, if you want this, what you must consume. That means who has made that arrangement? Every sophisticated thing that people had no idea about in the past, now you know a lot more, right? So still what? The arrangement was already there. What have you done is improved your understanding of that arrangement so that you can intervene better. You have unveiled certain ignorance, absolutely. Okay, so that means you also then, in your understanding of Ishvara, which is the string which holds all the different entities together, you have to include biological laws, you have to include laws of survival. Okay, what else do you need to
the
planet
cycles, all the cycles of nature for sustenance of the ecosystem.
Excellent. You have to include that too, right? Who has, absolutely. Who has created, as Arnaz is saying, right, the sun, which is very has a very precise distance to what? The Earth. While the whole galaxy is moving, the distance always remains constant. if it goes a little bit out of axis, the whole thing, what? And it has been going for millions of years. And you try to create a model, two balls, and they have to move very fast and at the same time have same distance. The distance between them remains the same. How long it will take for you to create something, just two elements? How long it will take? Millions. You can't even create, right? Now here it's already created, already in operation. And not only two, but how many different stars and how many different planets and how many different galaxies. The whole thing is organized. Okay, so this is what we call what? The physical order. Okay. So therefore, that physical order also holds us together. Holds the planet and what? The sun together. The sun and what? The entire solar system together. Okay, the different galaxies together. It is just mind-boggling, and it's already worked out. Okay, so therefore that string, your understanding of the string also now has to include physical, survival, biological order. What else?
What about the environment and the seasons?
Excellent, right? The seasons. How are seasons formed? It's interesting. How are seasons formed?
The rotation, the different.
Exactly. The rotation of the earth and then its position with reference to the sun creates different seasons. Okay, that is all part of what we call the physical order.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's predictable. So all this, you have all these TV reports, right? Now they are able to weather forecast. Okay, so that means before people were looking at the skies, and people were inferring. Okay? Now those farmers, they used to look at the sky and they used to infer what is good. And now what have we done? We have all these very sophisticated machines with which what do? We do a forecast. Do we set up the weather? No. We only do.
The physical order sets up the weather.
Exactly, right? So that means Ishvara sets up the whole thing, already done. Okay, and what we do is
Learn to
as
understand.
Exactly any pursuit of knowledge that we have, whether you are a physicist or you're an astrophysicist or you're a medical doctor, right?
Somewhere we are influencing it, but yeah,
Climate
that's what I'm saying.
change,
So now
by
where
global
does
warming.
the human
Exactly.
impact, where there is
1 minute.
where do we
A very
use that?
excellent
Yeah.
question. Excellent question. Right? Now, first thing we have to understand. Right? So, the minute any engagement that anybody, any knowledge, okay, there is no human being which creates knowledge. We only unveil. Okay? So that means we try to understand how things work, and with that understanding we intervene, right, more meaningfully. Everybody. So nobody, a scientist is not outside Ishvara, right? He's looking at Ishvara from the standpoint of what? That physical order. A medical doctor is not outside Ishvara, is studying Ishvara from the standpoint of how? Biological order. Right? So this is why the Vedic vision, there is no spiritual and material. Please take this out. Take this out from your mind, because every knowledge is manifestation of that Ishvara, which has already made the universe. And a human being, any pursuit of knowledge is in the pursuit of Ishvara, either partially or totally. Okay? Or you want to understand the total nature of Ishvara. Okay? So therefore, now let us look at some more order, and then we will talk about this very important question that Bela and Annaz have raised, and that is, where is our intervention then? If everything is order, where is it that we influence? How do we interference? Exactly. Excellent.
Because it has to be.
It has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
Right? No, we'll look at it. Okay, which is the window that we have been given, right, to influence this whole setup.
We have come as human beings as compared to being a rat.
Excellent, excellent. I will talk about it. But before that, let us look at one more order which puts us all together, and that is a very critical order. So physical, biological, laws of survival, or which is what we call the ecological order, okay, physiological order, laws of anatomy, okay. Then what other thing, which is the other thing which joins us together, which is the other law which joins us together, which is something that we have to struggle with or live with throughout our life.
Psychological, emotional.
Excellent. Psychological and emotional order. That is also within Ishvara. Right? A psychologist says that if you have gone through these kind of experiences, right, this is what you are going, this is the kind of orientation that you will have in your life. You think that you have a very unique problem and your situation is something which is very unique. By the time you explain your story, within half an hour, psychologist has figured out how, and knows you much more than you know yourself.
Because we see it before.
Exactly. So this is what we call the order. Okay. Just as one human mind is impacted by certain situations, other minds are also likely to be impacted. Okay. So therefore, this is what we call the psychological order, which what governs, and that's why our interactions with each other are not outside this psychological order.
These are all bits of that same string, basically.
They are all the bits of the same string, right? One string, and you deconstruct, because that one string is what we call all. Okay, but in order to increase the understanding of that, what does all mean, you need to break it down. You need to break it down so that the presence of Ishvara doesn't just remain a concept, it becomes a reality for you. Okay, so therefore psychological and emotional order, nobody is away from there. Nobody is away from it. Okay, this is why any emotional baggage that you have, you cannot reprogram yourself overnight. It follows what? The order, which has its own strength, right? And it has its own kind of a big cause and effect relationship through which it works. Okay, so you can intervene. Just as when you understand it, then what can you do? You can intervene intelligently to help yourself. Okay. Now there is another thing that you must understand. Where is your window? Otherwise what happens is, when I show you that there is this amazing order, right, and the physical universe includes laws of gravity, you can't change them. Okay, biological order, you can't change biological order. Okay? Physical order as to how the physical universe is organized, you can't change it. Okay, so that means this kind of an understanding leads you then to think that if everything is ordered and if everything is organized, where is my sphere of influence? Where is my place in it? Okay, so that means you are given one window, and that is what, as Bela says, that you are born as a human being. Can you elaborate on that?
What I was trying to say is that this particular life that we have been given a more intelligent mind to be able to analyze all this, to be able to, probably a cat or a dog, we don't know actually, maybe they are thinking, but they are not even trying to understand all this.
Exactly.
So
excellent, right? So that means what Bela is saying is a human being or its equivalent right? Because we don't know in this such vast universe how many equivalent could be there, right? Have one window to shape, not only to kind of live within those laws, but also to shape and to influence them.
But
And
not
that is
just
through
human beings, because
everybody
yes,
else, yeah, but even little bit more, because
perhaps.
and little bit more intelligent, and as a result more destructive also, like what she says, all the ecological problems, right? That we have gone out of our way to produce cars, produce,
I think more than that, it's just the fact that we have the potential to get a complete understanding
of
it.
that, absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
influence,
But not
everybody
only,
will influence. Even the dog that
Yes,
traps in the
but-
soil is influencing that whole
that is true,
cycle.
but the degree of influencing is a lot more.
But also that influence comes from the fact that this is a constantly changing Ishvara.
Yeah, absolutely, because the laws and determined, exactly,
laws.
absolutely. The laws are determined, but the way they apply keeps changing based on. So this is where there is one window that human being predominantly, but also other living beings have, right, to influence, not only to live within those laws, but to influence the very the environment around, right? So the manifestation of what is, right? And that is what we say through karma window. Actions, your actions. Okay, so that means this actions what make you. Now, whether this how do you, if your actions are just not even thinking about the presence of this order, is not even thinking about who you really are, just going along with everybody's assumption that I am this little individual who has to fulfill myself, try to grab as much as possible for my fulfillment. If this is the orientation behind your actions, how are you influencing the total ecology of things?
Negatively.
Yeah, right? Because your whole thing is, I don't really care how
not connected.
I'm not, exactly, I'm not. I first don't see my connection, I don't see the laws, I don't care about them. My whole focus,
Responsibility. I don't have any responsibility.
I don't have any sense of responsibility except that my very narrowly defined responsibilities. And even that I don't do a good job, because I constantly try to control everyone that I have.
So this is the macro economic picture, and we are living with micro.
Exactly. Right? And we have no understanding of what exactly is my position as a human being, right, in this universe.
I've been given such an important role and I am not playing it properly.
Not playing it, right? So this is where this Gita is an amazing book. It's
And just since you're saying that, one of the things that you can do in terms of your workshops is just these very, the Upanishad sentences, what you're saying, the Mahavakyas.
Kaz, yes.
You could just treat Mahavakyas
Yeah.
and do a whole workshop. It would be really wonderful.
Really wonderful. So good. We'll work out something. We'll try to. That'll be lovely. That'll be nice. So good. Arnaz, give me some ideas and I'll do it. I think they're lovely. It's nice to do it.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely. Okay. So therefore, what you need to understand is, right, that your position in the scheme of things. Okay, there is one window. Otherwise, you will assume that everything is predetermined, predestined, and everything is law, and I am not the creator of the laws. Okay, but through your actions, right, you influence the whole environment. Okay, and that is through certain laws. So this is where the Vedic vision is going beyond the laws of psychology, physics, biology, anatomy, epistemology. It is talking about laws of dharma. That is one string. one string, one another string, which connects what? Our interaction. That's why everybody is born with an understanding that I don't want to be hurt and others don't want to be hurt. Okay? How much we regard this or don't regard this has repercussions on what? The whole, one person you treat well in your life, one person you help, okay? How many get helped? You don't know. They're countless. Countless. Okay. And one person you do something which is not good, the person carries what? That hurt, behaves out of that hurt. You also disturb that whole system. How many people? Countless.
And it's not only people.
Exactly. Not only people, but the whole environment, the state of environment, right? That we have.
Do a good job today, so you
Exactly.
do something
A
bad.
simple thing like a child which grows up with a complex, when the child becomes an adult, who is going to suffer?
His children,
His children, his spouse, his employees, his colleagues, and then they themselves will, carry forward that legacy. So you are creating one huge,
This one small act can multiply
Ab-
geometrically.
absolutely, exponentially and geometrically through ages. Okay? And that once you recognize, my God, my responsibility. I am not just one unconnected human being who's here to grab whatever I can. That's a very shallow view of who you are and what is your place in the universe. Okay? So therefore, you also recognize as string what? The laws of dharma. Then what you recognize is also that when you go against dharma, there are laws which what? Make you
Give your result.
responsible, right? Give you a result for the actions that you have performed. So that means there is one more string. The one string has all these aspects. I don't want to say there are many strings. What I want to show is there is one string
which is made up of things.
which is connecting us all together. That string has so many different aspects.
Sorry, what did you just say about dharma?
What I said is that once I'm given a choice, right, whether I go along with what I understand to be right or wrong, okay, then whatever decision that I have made and I have acted based on that decision, I have to what? I have to go through the consequences of that decision. Okay, so this is what we call the law of karma, law of dharma and law of karma. So therefore, this is this string. This is the value added. Understand, it is beyond just psychology. Okay? So psychology only talks about what? Psychology talks about the mind, the laws of psychology. What is the Vedic model? It talks about Ishvara. It doesn't talk about only law of dharma and karma. It talks about Ishvara, which includes psychology, karma, dharma, physics, biology, everything. Right? Everything. It includes, it's comprehensive. Okay? So therefore, this is something which is a string. Okay? Now, you think is another thing. Now, you think that I am the bead and Ishvara is what? The string, which connects, and that string has so many different aspects. All these different laws which govern not only me, but me and all our interactions together. Right?
The whole web is.
The whole web. Absolutely. That's the thing that we showed Indra's web. Right? Yeah, all the connections. Okay. Now, the next question is, then who am I? Am I away from that Ishvara? If Ishvara is only the laws, okay, and I'm subject to those laws, then where am I placed? Am I outside or inside Ishvara? So the next verse, it says,
So this is the higher.
no, this is still Vachyartha. This is still Vachyartha. Okay, so here the next verse is Rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdakhe paurusham drushu. Okay, so now he's coming back to the beads. Okay, what are the beads that we talked about? The beads that we talked about were what? Human being, which it says Drushu, right? Human being. Okay, and what? Shashi and Surya. Shashi is the moon and Surya is the sun. Right? So this represents what we call the beads, and then the laws which put together all the beads. Right? Now he says, I'm also the beads. I'm not only the string which connects. He says, Aham Asmi, what? Shashi Surya. I'm also the very beads. Don't think of me as only the string which is putting together the beads. I'm also the beads. Okay, so therefore what we have to now see is something which is amazing. That is what the Vedic vision of Ishvara is. Okay? Vedic vision of Ishvara is that when you talk about a human body, okay, where there is this billions of cells coordinating right now, okay, there is what?
There is this intelligence.
There is this intelligence which is making them coordinate right now, to make them what they are, and what something, everything is aligned, and what if things go outside the alignment, then you can use the understanding of laws to bring them back into alignment. Exactly. Okay, so that means that intelligence is not only in form of the laws which what govern the interactions of the beads, but is in the very bead itself. The intelligence is there. That is Ishvara. Okay, there is right now the neurons of your brain are ticking in a way that you are understanding the sounds that I make through my words. There is that intelligence. Okay, because you're not putting together these neurons and saying now you go here, there is cortex, there is neocortex, there is all these different centers where you recognize different things and all, right? So there is this intelligence. So that means not only Ishvara is in form of that intelligence which is there, right? Ishvara now you have to understand slightly differently. Okay, you have to say Ishvara is that Sarvajnaha Sarva Shaktiman. Sarvajnaha means all knowledge, okay, and also which has the capacity to manifest the whole universe. Okay, which is not only in form of all the different laws, right, that govern the universe, but it is also in form of what? The objects that seem to be governed by the laws. That intelligence is in both. Okay, so this is where the Vedic vision of the universe is something. Yeah.
Because I saw it put the picture of like went on.
No, it's good. Okay. Even me now is too cold. Right. So therefore, what is what the Vedic vision? This is still Vachyartha,
Yeah.
Arnas,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
I got
This is still Vachyartha. how is it different from everything? You must understand. Okay, so the cause of, let's say, when I talk about any given thing in the creation, which is, now this is just logic, okay, this is something which is a cup, okay, it's a creation. So according to the philosophy, it has two different types of causes. Okay, what are the two different types of causes?
Material causes and meaning the maker and the
Excellent,
material.
right?
Yeah.
So as Arna says that this cup, which is a creation, has two causes. One is what we call the maker, the efficient cause. In Sanskrit, it is called nimitta karana. Nimitta karana means that which causes that thing. Okay, and then the maker of the cup cannot just manifest this cup, needs what? Exactly, the material, right? So the material cause in Sanskrit is called upadana karana. Okay, so nimitta karana and upadana karana. Okay, so any cause of the universe requires two different kinds, the maker and the material. Okay, now when it, in this case, there are two different, right, the person who made the cup and the clay with which, or whatever, the porcelain or whatever it is with which it was made, they are two different things. Okay, now let us look at the creation of the whole universe. Okay, the maker and the material, are they two different things or not? We have to think about, we have to figure out, right? So therefore, now let's say that logically, okay, so generally what is our assumption? Our assumption, if you have not inquired enough into the nature of creation, when you say the creator is somewhere there, and what you assume that out of some material he created us and he is still sitting there, right? That's what you generally think. So that means in that way of looking at the world, you are continuing this model.
Two,
So
two
now you are
separate
moving,
things.
okay, right?
So-
From
Now you are moving.
Vachyartha.
Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Oh, so it's not like this meaning is the whole
No, not yet.
material cause.
No. We are still looking at the Vachyartha, of what is the cause of the universe. Where is the cause of the universe?
What is Tattvapada mean, the cause of it?
The cause of the universe. Ishvara. Okay? Now don't worry about when am I moving to, just try to follow what I'm saying, right? Because I have my own design. So therefore, when we talk about some entity sitting out there and we are created, we carry the same logic forward, right? That there is somebody out there like the cup maker which has created this cup, and do you see that cup maker? It doesn't stick with the cup, right? You don't even know who has created the cup. So we carry the same logic to think about the creation. But what Vedanta says is this logic doesn't work when it comes to the creation of the whole universe. Why? Because exactly,
Also the maker
exactly,
manifests in the material.
exactly, right? So what Vedanta says is that when you talk about the creation of the whole universe, as Bela says, where did the material come from? If already there is material, already there is creation.
Beautiful form, but it's there.
It's there, right? So therefore, then you will have to ask, then who created that material? Then who created that material? Who created? Then it leads to infinite regression. Okay? So therefore, there is what? Logical absurdity there. Okay? So this is where we say that the material cannot be separate from the creator, because everything is yet to come. The time is yet to come, the space is yet to come, every object within time and space is yet to come. So you cannot have a material already existing that the maker uses to make the universe.
You mean because there's no
There is no
answer?
second thing. There is no second thing. Because the minute you say that the creator used something else, that means that already that something else was already created,
Existed.
already there. So that means you can't say beginning of creation, because it's already there. The minute you say some material is there, it implies time, space, and object within time and space.
But suppose you say the creator created the material and then he used the
Ex-
material to
No, but he
make
still
whatever.
Exactly. So that means absolutely
Right.
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 So that means that that material is something the creator is not only the maker but also the material.
He is the material.
He is the material, right? He is the material. Okay, that's why. Okay, is the now the maker of this cup can be away from the creation, right? But can the material cause be away from the cup? No, right? So that means if Ishvara is the material cause of the creation, where will you find Ishvara?
Within.
Everywhere. Okay, so this is what I just showed you, that there are these cells and there is this intelligence which governs those cells. That is for you to see, oh my God, that is true. Okay, when I understand that there is not only my cells are governed, the cells of a horse are also governed by that intelligence. You see that intelligence. The eyes of a bird are also governed by that intelligence. The form of reptiles is also governed by that intelligence. Okay, so that means now what Vedic vision says not only logically cannot be contradicted, but also is something that you begin to see. Okay, any form that you see is nothing but manifestation of that intelligence. Okay, and every law that you study is also the manifestation of that intelligence. So that means yeah. So that means this intelligence, now you can use Vedic vision and you can see the presence of intelligence in not only the laws but also what? Every entity which is governed by the laws. So this is what it says, all that is here is that Ishvara. It's only one Ishvara, one intelligence which is manifesting in different names and forms, and not only manifesting in different vision. It's not, see, one thing, see, Bela, here I'm not talking about faith.
Not faith, but you
I'm
understand.
talking about Vedic vision. There is a vision that you can't miss. It's not, did anything that I say tantamounts to faith?
No.
It's there.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, what she's saying is
Deeper,
faith
Whether-
is the level of the person who without understanding
Without understanding, but
feels it.
But this
Yeah.
whole thing, this whole forms, all these forms are based on Vedic vision, which is not a belief.
Even if you don't understand.
You don't understand,
They don't
but they don't
understand.
understand. Yes, exactly.
Somebody to unveil it for them.
Absolutely.
but
So
they
therefore, they are
Wise.
exactly. It is.
I mean, that the ancient people were really wise. They
Yeah.
were not
colored by
connected.
They were
You see,
connected. They were connected. Exactly.
Colored with so much.
Okay, so this is why in the Vedic vision, which is this whole vision, right, you also can then worship a tree. The people go around and put all kinds of a thing. What do they worship? not the chlorophyll. What do they? Not the trunk, not the roots. What do they worship? The intelligence. Exactly, which is making the design what it is, and what it is connecting me to that through the laws. Right? I look at the sun. I don't worship what the hydrogen atoms or anything like that. Right? What do I worship? The intelligence which places the sun where it is with reference to me and perform all this. Exactly. Absolutely. The form is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara. The laws which connect me to that form is also nothing but Ishvara. Me who is connected to that is also nothing else but Ishvara. Okay? So this is why people ask, why in Vedic, the people ask, why do Hindus put this little dot on there, right? So then people give all kinds of funny explanations. If you're married, you give and all. The real vision is that when you see Ishvara in everything, don't forget yourself. Okay, just as you put kumkum and all, you also every day remind yourself that you are manifestation of that Ishvara. And you also have responsibility because exactly because of this manifestation and the way it is connected to everything else in the universe. Okay, this is wisdom. It is amazing way of looking at the world and your role in it. Okay, so therefore you include yourself. That self-loath, self-blame, all these low self-esteem, everything will go if you begin to see the world like that. Because everything, all their feeling of being a victim, all these will disappear. Why me? World is unfair. Things don't happen my way. I can't do anything right. All these different modern problems that we have acquired, right? Present day problems that we have acquired will disappear in just that shift of vision based on realities. It is based on realities. It is not based on belief. Re-understanding the reality. Seeing something much more subtle than what your eyes can meet. Okay. So therefore, this is all is what Tatpada Vachyartha. You may think that it is completely finished, but there is another aspect which we will see, right, next time, and that is the Tatpada is explained through one word, which is Om. Okay, so we will see that next time. Okay, so therefore, yeah, exactly, same thing, yeah.
So I just want to ask you one thing.
I will do the prayer first.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you can ask first.
I just quickly want to say the
Lakshyartha.
This understanding that you just said is realizing that there is Ishvara and everything. That's not Lakshyartha.
No, 1 minute. No. What I mean to say is that in an equation, right, there is one which is the apparent difference and the other one is the actual point of resolution, right? So therefore, if individual is equated to Ishvara, right, you can't mean, if I think what is my immediate understanding of who I am, this individual, right, and what is, if now I understand what is Ishvara, right, what is Ishvara? The intelligence which governs what? The entire universe, all the laws, right, and all the not only, and all the forms, right? I am not that Ishvara. So these are all this, in this Vachyartha, there is a huge difference. Where is the point of resolution? The point of resolution is not here. You are not Ishvara. In Vachyartha, there is a huge difference. Who you think you are, which is this individual, and Ishvara is what? This intelligence which brings about time, space.
So here you have
It is-
included yourself in creation.
Exactly.
You haven't
Right?
put yourself in the creator yet.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right? Because what the equation says is not that you're part of this, you are. Exactly.
So we haven't come.
We haven't come to that.
Okay,
This
that's
is
what
why.
I didn't
No,
understand.
no,
Yeah.
no. You have not come to that. What you have come to is in the first
I went
six.
a step further. I put myself in
See, this is why I kept on telling you that I have
At
not.
this point, we have only put
We have-
ourselves in creation.
Exactly. That's why we have not yet come to Lakshyartha. We are just understanding the Vachyartha, just understanding what is Ishvara. Before I equate myself to something, I need to understand totality of what that Ishvara is, where there is a difference and where there is a resolution. And why am I that?
Yeah. I understand.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.